In this video we will look at a few questions and problems related to exporting, importing 3D models from Blender to Roblox Studio. Hello, I am Yoji and welcome to the Baker's Dozen. As always, don't forget to rate this video, leave good comments and carefully check the description and pinned comment. It is in your best interest to watch the video in full and without rewinding. Enjoy watching! Let's start with ways to export a model from Blender to Roblox Studio, and after that we will consider some of the problems that you may encounter. So, let's go to Blender. Let's say you have created a model with all materials and textures. Choose a model or several models, go to the file, export. Here we have only two options that Roblox Studio works with. They are Формат OBJ and FBX. There are several differences between these formats. Формат OBJ of the cons does not automatically add a texture. That is, you have to add it manually. Also, if your model consists of several parts, then when importing into Roblox Studio, all parts will be combined onto one. Of the good, an adequate size when importing. Формат FBX. Of the good, the texture is loaded with the model, but it's worth clarifying that the texture shall be in the form of a separate file in the appropriate format, usually this PNG. I'll tell you more about texture in another video, a link to which will appear in the description as soon as it is ready. You may also need to place the texture file in the same folder as the 3D model file in the FBX format. This is in case the texture is not loaded during import along with the model. Also depending on the import method, which we will talk about when we go to Roblox Studio, allows us to choose whether connect the parts that make up our model or not. Of the cons, the inadequate large size of the model when importing, but this is easy to fix. Let's immediately save our model in both formats. Let's start with Формат OBJ. In the settings, be sure to check the box selected only. That is, we export only what is selected. The same applies to FBX, check the box selected objects. Next, change the scale parameter. I usually set it to 0.100. Thus, when importing, we get the same size of the model as in the OBJ format. Then we export. Now let's go to Roblox Studio. There are several ways to import a model, each of which we will consider in detail. And let's start with the most common. We right-click anywhere in our workspace, select Insert Object. Or you can press the key combination Ctrl-I, then select Mesh Part. The base object appears in the workspace, which is also displayed in the Explorer window in the workspace. Let's add them another mesh part, but in a different way. Next to the workspace section, click on the plus icon. A small window appears in which we immediately see and select mesh part. Also note this nondescript switch, clicking on which you will see everything that can be added. Or use the search bar to find the element you need. Rename the added objects. Select the object, press F2 and rename. Now we need to import our models into these objects. Select this first object. In the Properties window, look for the Mesh ID item, click on the folder icon. In the window that opens, first select our OBJ format model, open. In the message that opens, if you click yes, the object will take that position in space, which was in Blender when the model was exported. If you click no, the model will appear in the place of our object that is mesh part. We do the same with the FBX format and immediately see the difference. The model was imported along with the texture. Fine. Let's go back to the first model and add a texture to it. To do this, select the model. In the Properties window, look for the Texture ID item. We click on the Input field and nothing happens. How to solve this problem? In fact, everything is simple. Pay attention to the window Asset Manager. If you don't have it, go to the View tab and click on the Asset Manager, after which it should appear. Here we see a message in which we need to click Save to Roblox. In the window that opens, configure everything as you need and click Save. Now we can load the texture. Texture ID add the image, choose file, select our texture, open and click create. Important point, everything that you uploaded to Roblox Studio is verified. That is, the name, content, copyright and so on checked for the presence of anything prohibited. The name of the files usually appears right away and you just need to change the file name. It takes more time to check content and copyright. Therefore, it happens that at first everything works for you, and the next day you receive a message that such and such an element has been deleted. Due to copyright infringement, which it is desirable not to infringe. An example message is in front of you. The audio file was deleted. It was taken from a special site where files without copyright are published, but it did not pass the test. In any case, you can always appeal content that you are completely confident in. There is a separate video on how to file an appeal with Roblox. There will be a link in the comments or in the description. We return to our model. As we see in finale has a texture. This method of importing a model through mesh part has two significant drawbacks. Firstly, if the model consists of several parts, then when importing, they will all be combined into one. Secondly, you cannot load a model with a large number of polygons, something around 10,000 maximum. To find out the polygon count of a model in Roblox Studio, you need to click on Import 3D file in the Home tab and select the file with our model. In the window that opens, go to the file Geometry, and in the item Polygon Count, we can see the number of polygons. Let's move on the next and perhaps the best way to import a model, especially for the FBX format, at least in some cases. In Asset Manager, click on this icon, select the desired file and open. There are three items in the window that appears. The first two items are usually left as is. If our model consists of several parts and we need to combine them, then put a tick in the third point and click Apple. Let's consider both options, without and with a checkmark in the third paragraph, to demonstrate not only what it will look like, but also to show the main drawback of this import method. Overall, Asset Manager is similar to a file manager, into which we load materials, objects, and so on, in order to add them to the workspace when needed. And here we smoothly move on the main drawback. Any 3D object model imported in this way loses information about its location in space. This is important when the model consists of several separate parts, as in our case, and you need to import into the workspace without combining their parts into one object. That is, without checking the third paragraph, since as a result you will have to manually adjust the location of each part to get the original look of the model. In Asset Manager, all files and materials imported only in this way can be found in the corresponding folders, pictures in pictures, audio in audio, and so on. Let's move on the third and most usually way to import a model, which will be useful to those who create games. I will say right away that there's only one drawback. This method does not have a function to combine the parts that make up the model into one solid object. The rest is a total benefit. Tap Home, import 3D file, select the file with our model. This time to show you the main difference between this method and the previous ones. I will choose another model consisting of several parts. We are interested in 3 points. Insert using stand position, responsible of importing and applying information about the location of our model in space from the center of the stand. That is, if in Blender the model of the parts of which is consist were located at certain height and distance along the coordinate axis from the intersection point of all coordinate axes. Then during import all this will also be preserved. The model axis will be the center of the model object itself. Set pivot to stand origin is also responsible for importing and applying information about the location of our model in space, but firstly without references to the center of the workspace. Secondly, the model axis will not be the center of the model object itself, but the intersection point of all coordinate axes. Yes, this very point will be the axis of the model. Here's what it looks like in Roblox Studio using these tools. Let's add a simple rotate script to the same model. Insert in workspace allows us to import our model directly into the workspace, which is very important in our situation. Let's just see and compare the result with the previous import method. Click Import. The model was imported without any problems, and in every detail you can make different changes. Change the material, color, texture, add the effects, and so on. The advantage is obvious. Now you know about these disadvantages and advantages of this or that way of importing 3D models into Roblox Studio. Let's move on to the problems that you may encounter during the import process. What should I do if, when importing the FBX file, the model becomes very large? We have already talked about this when exporting a model from Blender. In the scale parameter, change the parameter to a small value. I usually set it to 0.100. What should I do if during import some of the polygons of the model are not visible? Let's consider two situations. In the first situation, when textures polygons are not visible inside the model. To fix this, select the model and in the properties window find and check the point double-sided. Problem solved. Situation number 2. Before you two models, one of which is not a visible part of the polygons. To fix this, you need to go back to Blender to this model. Open these options, overlays, and check the point face orientation. Now we can see where the texture looks on the polygons of the model. Blue color, the texture is looking at us or out. Red, look inside the model. To fix this, you need to select the model, go to the edit mode, and depending on the situation, you can select all the polygons by pressing the letter A, or separately select the required polygons by switching the selection mode from vertex to faces for convenience. Then press the key combination Shift N. Now the color is blue everywhere, switch the mode back, uncheck the face orientation parameter, and you can safely export the model from Blender and import into Roblox Studio. That's all. So, if the video was helpful, please click like, write a good comment and share this video on social networks, so that it helps even more people. Eat plenty of delicious and equally healthy food, don't get sick, don't be bored. Thanks for watching and see you later. Creating content and learning a language is not a bad plan, maybe.